Boston. Coming to us from Virginia Beach is Nick Cattles from ESPN Radio. Long-time Boston follower. He was on with Adam Jones earlier here on the Sports Hub. You probably remember him from there. How you doing, Cattles?
I'm all right, Felge. How you doing, man?
Excellent. You all can send us your comments below. We will answer questions as we go along. If you want to join us, hit that fan line in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and we can see your pretty face. You can join us and give us your thoughts on this game as the Patriots start the fourth quarter here up 21-14. Cattles, what are your thoughts on this ball game so far?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. I think Brady finally got into a little bit of a groove in that third quarter after having a slow, inconsistent first half. He missed Edelman down the seam. He missed Gunner towards the sideline later on as well. Not super sharp early. Looks a little bit better now. I'd like to see a little bit more James White. They've gone Sony Michel heavy, and I would say, Felge, short yardage situations with this offense right now are hideous. Michel cannot convert short yardage plays. They've got to figure it out. They're playing Bolden and they're playing sneak with Brady tonight.
How do you feel about Michel overall? How do you feel he runs?
I mean, I think he's okay. He's not as good as I thought he was going to be out of Georgia. That screen pass in the third quarter, for example, if that's James White, I think you probably have 15 to 20 yards, and instead you get 8 yards.
So there's another run.
Yeah.
So he's just interrupt you quickly. He stopped just short of the line of scrimmage, and there's I still haven't seen anything special out of him. Nick had nice playoffs last year, but I just on a play-to-play basis, I don't see the burst or the explosion, or just a play like that, stick your head, get your head down and get a yard or two. I just feel there's too much tentative running from him in all situations.
Yeah, and it seems like they're trying to get him going, right? I mean, he's played a lot tonight. He's played a lot of snaps. They got him, throwing the football to him finally the last couple of games, starting in Washington last weekend. So they're trying to get him involved a little bit more. And maybe it's just a confidence issue. They want to get him going a little bit. But I tend to agree with people out there that say it seems like there's more yardage out there to have at times, and he misses it. And, again, that screen pass in the third quarter was a perfect example. Other than that, I think, offensive line has been okay. Brady's been okay. The Josh Gordon injury, Felge, I don't know how you feel about that. But if he's hurt, and it looks like he's hurt, I don't know where you go. I mean, you've got Gunner and you've got Edelman, the two white dudes, and Myers he's made a couple of plays tonight. But if Gordon's out for any period of time, that's a significant injury for them.
Yeah, it's not great, but I'll say, what is wrong with Jacoby Myers? I mean, if Brady's afraid to throw to the guy, he catches everything thrown to him. Maybe it'll force Brady into looking across the field a little bit. He just had a deep in cut to Olszewski, which, again, I'm not telling you this guy's Steve Largent or anything, or, the Patriots system, and Josh will get you open if Brady will look in your direction. So maybe this forces Brady to just look across the field a little bit more. I just think he's way too reluctant with these young receivers as he just takes another sack there. How about the sack in the first half, the strip sack? I'll get your thoughts in a second. I blame the coaches on that. Ryan Izzo has had trouble blocking on the edge the entire season. It's not something we would normally watch, but we talk to Greg Bedard every week, and he's told us every week that Ryan Izzo on the edge blocking is a disaster. He's not ready to do it. And they put him one-on-one with that pass rusher, and the next thing you know, the ball's in the end zone going the other way. So I think they set up Ryan Izzo's not a good blocker, and he got dusted on that play, but coaches should be aware of that.
I would say that, I agree that he got beat there, but Brady also had the ball for, I don't know, what was it, 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. I'm thinking Izzo believes the ball is going to be out of Brady's hands by the time that pass rusher, and there he was again, 59. I can't get his name right now, but, he's getting to Brady a couple times tonight. I think Newhouse has been very mediocre. Izzo with a big catch there on 2nd and 14 to make this thing manageable now at 3rd and 3. I think this offense is just trying to find what they can do consistently. And as far as your Myers point, Felge, I agree with you. Listen, I don't know. I mean, I hate that play call by McDaniels. That's the second straight shitty play call on 3rd down. The last drive, he did the tip pass, which everybody saw coming. And that time he does a sweep to the outside with White. That's not his strength. That's a terrible play call by McDaniels.
And so the second one you're talking about was the second shovel pass to White that they had a good gain on in the first half, and he went back. The Giants were ready for it.
Yeah, and you lose 3-4 yards. Now you've got this sweep play, this pitch, this toss to White. You lose 3 yards on 3rd and 3, and that McDaniels is looking at this saying, okay, we can't run inside. We can't run outside. What do we do in short yardage situations? I trust Brady. Let him throw the football on 3rd and short. These run plays are killing him right now.
Well, they're going back for on 4th down again. I don't blame them.
Yeah,
not lining up movement right now. Yeah, and pressure got to him there.
Yeah,
pressure got him up the middle.
But to get to your Myers point, though, Felge, I don't know what else you expect from the guy. He's made 2 very good catches tonight. The one that was, I don't know if it was a back shoulder on purpose or if it was a misfire by Brady, but he adjusts while the ball's in midair and he makes a nice catch inside the 10, I think it was. And then he has that other ball where, he goes and he gets it. That's not a great pass by Brady, but he goes and he gets it. And as soon as he catches it, he quickly lifts it up to make sure the defender doesn't knock it out. The guy's making
really
plays.
Nice play.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's making plays when he gets a chance.
Hopefully, Brady just builds a little bit more trust in him. I'll start to take some of your comments here. Again, fan line in the upper right-hand corner of your screen if you want to join us on your phone. Mark Watson says running game is a big problem, but it's fair to say they are in big trouble at receiver. Well, they have the running backs. I mean, they've drafted a guy in the 1st round. They drafted a guy in the 3rd. He can't even get on the field. They're spending money on Rex Burkhead. James White's a great player. They have the personnel in the backfield. They may not have it on the offensive line, but the running game should be there. Let me ask you, Cattles, if you had the choice between Trent Williams at left tackle or Manny Sanders at receiver, what's a bigger need, offensive line or receiver?
I say receiver because I have a lot of trust in Scarnecchia that he can figure it out. I think he can, is this line going to be top 10 offensive line in the league? Probably not. But can Scarnecchia get these guys up to a level that's, slightly above average? I think so. I think if you get Sanders in this offense, Brady gets the ball out quicker, Sanders gets open. And, some of this is just a combination of a number of things, Felge. It's bad play design. It's bad offensive line play. At times, it's Brady feeling pressure when he doesn't have it. It's at times Brady holding out of the football for too long because guys can't get open. It's just I think what we're seeing is just a combination of factors right now. And I think Scarnecchia will be able to coach the guys up. They need somebody other than Edelman that you feel like, and maybe it will be Myers, but they need somebody else that you can depend upon to make a big play at a big time.
Okay. Pete Herbert says Sony sucks. Give Harris a chance. I would agree. I think that blitz pickup's a big thing, and Sony Michel did have a really nice block on a pass rush right up the middle.
Yeah,
I asked over Tea Kettle, so that that's part of the reason why Harris is probably not in there.
What's the word on Harris, by the way, up there? Is there any reason why he's not active?
No.
Is it no?
None. Zero. No reason. People are wondering why, especially with Burkhead out. Why? You get a lot of people calling, like, what's up with Harris? Harris had a game in the preseason where he really flashed. And then I think he got dinged up the next game, and you have not seen him since. Let's grab Andrew in Florida. He's on the fan line. Again, you all can join us by hitting that icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen as Jones backpedals and almost throws another pick. Boy, look at the Daniel Jones in a second.
Danny Dimes.
Andrew, what do you got?
Is Bill not having any trust in this kicker or in Bailey holding the ball? Because it's boggling my mind that you're going for a play 4th and 5 with the wind to your back.
What yard line were they on there, Andrew?
It would have. I think they said on the broadcast it would have been a 50-yard kick.
And they have the wind, so yeah, they have no trust in their kicker. That's obvious.
That's 2 games in, and you don't have any trust on this kicker, and it's like, well, what do you do now? So. Okay,
Andrew, thanks for the call. And also the whole, Ace Ventura there, Bailey. I love Bailey punting. Unbelievable punter, but you got to spin those laces,
Laces out, baby. Laces out. What are we doing here? Yeah, the kicking game is obviously a problem. It was a problem even with Gostowski. It's a problem now with Nugent. I wouldn't be surprised that kid they got on the practice squad. I wouldn't be shocked if he's playing for them next game. I really wouldn't, the way this thing is gone. And just the lack of trust. And, once again, here's a big play by the defense.
3rd and 9 fumble. And more points from the defense. What a great play by Van Noy.
I think they're marking him out, Felge. I think they got him just out of bounds. But, again, this defense.
Sometimes a little bit behind. Hold on. I'm on the NFL Network, which means I'm a little bit behind Fox.
They think they got a mark down. I think they got a mark down at the 2. It's Collins with the hit. And how about Jamie Collins this year? I mean, boy, he's made a number of plays this year early on in this season. And, Van Noy is not out of bounds. I don't know if he's out of bounds on that. They just showed the replay. I'm not so sure his foot was out. This is a much better angle. His foot was never out. He hits the pylon with the football.
That should be a touchdown.
That should be a touchdown. And I need it for my fantasy points. Let's go. That's got to be a touchdown.
Didn't need to hear that. While they're looking at it,
that's a touchdown.
That's got to be 6. What's your thoughts on Daniel Jones?
Well, I think people jumped way too far ahead after his first game. And, we see this a lot now where a young guy goes out there and he plays fairly well and people jump on the bandwagon immediately. Yeah, I think he's a risk taker, Felge, and he's a guy that, listen, here's the pros and the cons to Jones. When you played Eli, and I saw Eli earlier this season, a little bit last year as well. You play Eli, he's captain conservative. He's dumping the football off. He's not going to take any risks. He's not going to stand in the pocket when the heat is coming down on him to take a hit, to make a throw. Jones is going to do that kind of thing. But the con to that is when you take risks, you're going to get burnt. And you saw that in the first half when he waited. His arm gets hit because he doesn't throw the ball out of bounds quick enough. So if you're willing to take risks, sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. And when you're playing against a defense like this, it's going to singe your ass hairs.
He made some really stupid plays. That one where his arm got hit, he's got to get rid of the football. And I think the third one was simply he couldn't figure out whether it was man or zone, which is just that. And as they did on the broadcast, that was a pretty easy read for him. He did make some tight window throws in this game.
He did.
So, that's what they see in him. I'd be disappointed that he hasn't run as much as advertised. He can run. He can be a factor with his legs, and he only really had that one scramble up the middle. The Giants, I'd be looking for more on that. Let's grab another call on the fan line. Again, we've got Nick Cattles down in Virginia Beach with ESPN Radio. He's a masshole by heart, even though you're from Rhode Island, right?
That's right, Rhode Island, yeah.
Honorary masshole. Christian, what do you got?
One thing we've seen, at least in the first half, was them throwing to Sony Michel. And in an offense where it looks a little limited right now, and oftentimes you have Michel lined up in the backfield, it often gets predictable. And with Michel's inability to run short yardage, why don't they just throw to him more? I mean, I know he had that one in the flat that went right through his hand, which obviously is not a good look. But he seems to be capable, and Brady seems to be going to him at least the last 2 weeks. If it's something that you need to throw a little bit misdirection, why don't we use him more out of the backfield as a passer, considering that's what he did so well out of Georgia?
Christian, thanks for checking in. We'll drop you, and I'll pick it up and say absolutely. Michel looks natural as a pass catcher.
Yep.
And, I think he had one drop there in the first half on a ball that was a little over his head, but it doesn't look like – he looks like he can catch the football, and I don't know what's taken them so long to throw him the ball, and they did give Van Noy the touchdown as they should have.
Yeah, and listen, I think this is one of those things where McDaniels might be trying to feel his way through this early period of the season offensively to see what he has. And you mentioned it too, Felge. Brady has to trust some of these guys. He's just going to make some of these throws. He's got to trust that these guys are going to make plays. And if they don't, they don't. But if you're holding on to the football, waiting for Edelman to get open on every single play, it's not going to work out. And so, maybe the silver lining to the beginning of this season with this offense being a mess and inconsistent the last couple of weeks especially, maybe the silver lining is that these other guys are going to start doing some things, the Gunners and the Myers and Michel in the pass game, maybe so when you get later on in the season, and if you have N'Keal Harry and hopefully Josh Gordon healthy, these things will help them in the long run. But right now, it's really tough because they can't consistently put things together for more than a drive.
Do you think they don't have enough on defense, on offense, and that they're in trouble if they don't make upgrades?
I think they need N'Keal Harry back, or they need – I think N'Keal Harry being a solid 3 guy would help them, or Myers popping. I think if you have Edelman, you have Gordon, you have Harry – and you've got Michelle in the stable of backs. I think with Brady, you have enough with this defense. The problem is if you lose a guy or two or somebody gets nicked up, your depth just isn't there right now. And, Edelman is nicked up. Gordon is nicked up. Harry's on the IR. So you need those guys to be fully functional in being as good as they can be. If they have that, then they have enough with Brady in this defense. If something springs a leak, then they could have an issue.
So I think they're going to get better. I think if they do nothing, they still have enough, given this defense, right? Yeah. If they had the defense that they had back in like 2011 and that, no, they don't have enough offense if they had a bad defense, but they've got a killer defense. So I think, Nick, they have enough on offense because I also think they'll get better. The offensive line almost always gets better, and I think that it will. If Brady is forced to start working with Myers and forced to, they put Michelle in the pass game and they're forced to start working with these things, it will get better. When Brady gets, out of his little pity party, it will get better.
Yeah, and I got to ask you the question. Do you think, kind of jumps out at me, and I was tweeting about this earlier on tonight, the lack of James White. They go to White at the end of the first half, and you could see the discernible difference when the rhythm picks up, the pace picks up. White is reliable. He makes a couple of plays. Next thing you know, you're scoring a touchdown at the end of the first half. Do you think they're just trying to save his bullets? Are they trying to push Michelle, like I said earlier? Why is he not getting nearly as many snaps as I would expect him to have with Burkhead out?
I think they're definitely managing White. I think they've done that in the past. He's someone you can't – not just injury risk, but a little bit diminishing returns. I just don't think you can feed him too much. And so I think that's totally what they're doing. And again, for Christ's sake, they're paying 3-4 different running backs and drafted a couple running backs high. And so I just think that's what they're – in the playoffs, they'll target James White 12 times in a game if that's what it takes. Connor asks, can't tell if this defense is as good as they look, or is it a matter of the offenses that they're playing? I think they're kind of this good.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Doug Farrar article. If you haven't, check it out, USA Today. And Farrar wrote a great article. Look, do yourselves a favor, anybody watching this right now with Felge and I, look at who the Bears played in 85, the quarterbacks. Look at who the Ravens played in 2000, the quarterbacks. I'll give you a hint. They all sucked ass. If you look at those two great defenses, they were great defenses, but the level of competition was also a question. The only problem is, we're 34 years removed from the Bears, and we're 19 years removed from the Ravens, so we can't go back in our head and say, oh, they played a weak schedule. Google Doug Farrar, look it up, USA Today. It's been within the last couple of days. He goes into great detail about that. It's a great article. I think they're legit.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is giving up 10 points a game after tonight on average. I don't think that number's going to hold, but I think it's absolutely by far a championship caliber defense. I don't think it's their best ever. Too many people have made that leap. I mean, I think that 2004 defense, you got Hall of Famers across the board on that. The talent was greater than 04, but the way these guys play together, it's definitely up there. That 3rd and 2 play right there is another one that I would, if I'm the Giants, you're chucking it deep downfield on 3rd and 2. The quarterback can run. Like that to me, that's a spot where Daniel Jones tuck it up and go run for 3 yards and get the first down.
Yep. And I think, for the last couple of years, Pat Shurmur has been bailed out by the Eli excuse. And I don't think that he's called a good enough game. I've watched plenty of the Giants down here with so many Skins fans and stuff. They're on TV an awful lot here in Virginia Beach. I've seen a good amount of them. And it wasn't just Eli. Now, did Eli deserve to be benched? 100%. But it wasn't just Eli. It was Shurmur's play calling and some other issues. Dave Gettleman, I think, has been a disaster personnel-wise. And that play call, I agree with you, Felge. It makes zero sense on 3rd and 2. And you're down by 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. You're probably going to go for it twice, right? You might as well run on 3rd down, hope to get a yard or a yard and a half. Then you got 4th and 1 or less, and you can go for it on 4th. The chuck it downfield is just terrible.
John Mason in the comments. I'm reading you, John. I see he's all over me. Mike, you're so wrong. You just won't admit the offense sucks. You absolutely need Antonio Brown. Any great receiver, regardless of his personality, that's what they need. I've been an anti-Randy Moss guy my whole career. John says, just because Asante Samuel missed that interception, you claim Randy Moss didn't help the Patriots. You are so wrong, beyond wrong, Mike. I am not a believer, John, in that fancy pants diva outside wide receiver. I think they don't win. I think they don't work. I don't think this team needs it. I'll take good players, but when they demand the ball and get in the way and are more trouble than they're worth, I've just seen it way too often. And Randy Moss could have won, but he just didn't. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Guys like that end up not winning.
Listen, I'm out on Brown. I gave it a chance. And said, if this guy can stay on the rails and be, a Patriot and keep his mouth shut and just play football, fine. Then you take the swing, As soon as those texts are sent, he's done. And he continues. He walks into the deposition and he's texting and he's yelling. He's just beyond ridiculous. And here's the thing that people don't bring up. At least I haven't heard it a lot. Okay, so say if you have AB. So you bring AB back. Everything works out great. And then week 14, he loses his mind. Now you've banked so much of the offense on having Brown. Now you have to adjust late in the season going into the playoffs, which could be an utter disaster. You want to be hitting fifth gear when you get to December. You don't want to deal with a malcontent, unpredictable receiver like that because he literally can throw your offense off. And now you're trying to figure out what you are and what your offensive identity is going into the playoffs because Brown's gone. Because, I don't know, who knows what he would do.
You think there's any chance Gronkowski comes back? Kraft was hinting it in the pregame. Gronkowski said, I'm always keeping an open mind in the pregame as well. I don't think there's any chance, but what do you think, Nick?
I think there's always a chance. I think, people are saying how skinny he is. I mean, I think you can put on some weight if you start working at it and you have, a month or two. I would say it's a slight chance, though. Let's put it this way. I'm not looking forward to Rob Gronkowski playing football this year for this team. I wouldn't put any money on it.
I would not. I would agree. I think Kraft just wants to grab ass with the national broadcasters before the game and, do that sort of thing. Rick says, Felger, don't you think they need to trade for a receiver or will they improve without one? I think they will improve without one. I don't think they need to do it. I think they will do it. But if you want to ask me what I think they will bring in an upgrade, whether it's at receiver or tight end. I would prefer receiver over tight end, but I think they're going to do it. I think even if they don't, though, they'll improve to the well, they will have enough. That's just what I think.
See, on that play right there, that's what I'm talking about, though. Edelman gets rolled up on, and I think you're one injury, and you might even have that injury already with Gordon. They need one of Gunner or Myers to pop, or they need Harry to come back and listen, they spent a first-round pick on Harry. This is not a third-round pick or fourth-round pick, a dude that you hope can work. You used your first-round pick on him. He should be able to chip in. I'm not saying be a number one guy, but he should be able to carry some of the load. And if Gordon is healthy, which I'm doubtful about after seeing the play earlier tonight, but if Gordon's healthy, you've got Edelman, Gordon, and Harry gives you something. I think that's enough.
A good question here by Aaron Weiner. Have you noticed Michael Bennett tonight?
I don't think he's played. I have not seen him out there. I don't think he's played a snap. And if he's played, it hasn't been a lot at all.
Has anyone tweeted about that? Has anyone mentioned that?
Yes, people have been tweeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mentioned this, one of the things I was looking for, not to see how he plays, because I still think, even though this has been a more interesting game than we thought, it's a glorified exhibition. I don't think I've never felt they were going to lose this game.
No.
So I'm not looking about how he plays, but how much he played. He played 15 snaps last week, Nick.
Yeah.
He's the highest paid player on the team. He's making $6.5 million. So we have people chiming in saying he's played 5 or 6 snaps in this game. I haven't noticed him, but
no.
You make $6.5 million. You're the 6th highest paid guy on the team. You make $6.5 million, and you're playing a half dozen snaps. I mean, I understand, and people are weighing in. They're preserving him for the playoffs. To a point, they generally are not a load management kind of team. I mean, fuck. How many times do we watch the Patriots up 30 points, and in the fourth quarter,
they got Brady.
There's Gronkowski,
yeah.
There's Edelman, there's their starters. So they typically don't rest guys.
Although you did say they do that with White.
That would be out of character. I wonder if he is long for this team.
Yeah, I don't know. I did read that, even though he had like 15 snaps last week, that he actually, had 3 or 4 plus plays. I think Bedard wrote about that. I think it was Bedard. I'm not totally sure, though. So when he was out there, he didn't play a lot. But when he played, he made a couple of good plays. I don't know if it's trying to manage him. He's had some injury issues in the past. I don't know what it is. but it's obviously an issue. It might just be, hey, listen, we didn't think Adam Butler was going to be this good, and Butler has kind of popped so far this year. And so maybe Belichick is just giving the time that he thought Bennett would get to Butler because he's earned it. But I don't know.
Belichick made a comment last week about how he's learning his system. He comes from a different system, which was a tip-off to me. It was just a little sign that, they two-gap, and they want those guys up front to sort of do the dirty work. And Bennett, I don't think, is a dirty work kind of guy. He wants to get upfield, get to the quarterback, and I wonder if he's a fit for the system. Let's grab David in Jersey. He is on the fan line. You all can join us here as the Patriots will probably be closing out this game as we get to the last couple minutes here of the fourth quarter. When David jumps off, you all can jump on as well. We do have a dress code generally. David will let it go. Go ahead. What do you got?
No. How about we're just spoiled, and the fact is that we might have to just play a game old school and win by defense, tight games, not these flamboyant scores that they're going to be low scoring. They're going to be tedious. He's not going to make all the throws. I mean, the depth. I mean, you can't keep. They're against the hard cap, so that you can't.
Well, it's not just that, David. I think that they've just sort of cycled to the point where the defense has gone back ahead of the offense. It's the way it was when the dynasty started.
Yeah.
Brady took over for the big part of the middle.
What a catch.
And now I think the defense has just come back. Can we handle it, Dave? Thanks for checking in with your shirtless butt. Can we handle it? Can Brady handle it? Can we all just sort of recalibrate how we think of the team? Because they're still a championship team. It's just defense first.
Yeah, and I think people are so used to, and it's not only the Patriots. It's all a football, Felge, right? I mean, that's the kind of football we see now. It's the up and down offense, nonstop scoring, yardage, production. It's the Patrick Mahomes show. It's Deshaun Watson throwing 5 touchdowns. It's all of those things, right? But they don't need to be impeccable on offense. They need to do enough. They can't get in their own way. And as long as they do that and they make some plays, they should be fine. And I didn't come on here to agree with you all night long, but as far as this offense, what do we learn about the Patriots? If you learn anything about this team under Belichick, it's that they get better. He waits until around Thanksgiving, and then they figure out truly who they are, and they kick it into a different gear because they know exactly what team they have. And I think, again, if Harry comes back, there's ifs. But if you can stay healthy and you have the gradual improvement that we usually see from New England, this offense will do enough because I do think defensively they're a stud defense.
So I don't have much faith. Look at Brady here at the end. 331 yards, 31 of 41. It was a shitty night for him on balance, and he's still well over 300 yards.
I don't know why we're running a sneak from the 3-yard line, but that's with a 42-year-old quarterback.
Why are we sneaking from the 3-yard line then?
Yeah, he's 42 years old. What the fuck are we doing here? I understand you can't run inside, but what are we doing here? Is that his call?
So it feels like it. So back to Harry. I don't have faith that Harry's going to be a factor just because I think Brady is so reluctant to bring in those young players and trust those young players and look at those young players. I'm worried that he's going to shut out N'Keal Harry and not look his way.
Yeah, I mean the only thing is the only thing I would say is that
did he just do it again?
Yeah, he did.
Guy. With those fucking runs. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Again, maybe he just doesn't trust Michelle in short yardage, and I wouldn't blame him. Michelle's been a shit show short yardage, Felge. I mean, the fucking guy needs a half a yard. He loses a half a yard. So maybe Brady says, forget it. I've got the look up front. I can plow this thing ahead. I don't love seeing 42-year-old Brady sneak the football twice in a row, but it is what it is. And it's funny. It's so funny because you watch this team and you just mentioned it, like Brady's numbers, right? The first half, he was inconsistent. He wasn't sharp. He missed Edelman. That was one of the worst throws. That first pick by him is one of the worst throws I've seen. But, here we are, and they're up by 3 touchdowns. And I know that the Giants aren't great, obviously. They're not a very good football team. They're missing a ton of pieces offensively. Their defense is trash. But the Patriots sleptwalked through most of that first half, like last week against Washington. You look up and they're up by 3 touchdowns. So, this is one of those things where it's a short week. You get through it. You played like garbage the first 25 minutes.
All right, so some other comments here. A lot of people rooting for the Giants on the cover. If I'm being totally honest,
what was it? 17?
I could use a backdoor cover here.
Was it 17, Felger?
I got it at 17, or someone bet with me on 17, so I gave him the 17. So I could use a little backdoor cover here. Let's see. What else do we got? So if someone says revenge for the 2 Super Bowl losses, that's why he's sneaking it in. You don't revenge Super Bowl losses in October. Can't do it.
There you go. He feels so much better about the helmet catch now because he snuck that in.
How do you feel about Mike Penn? A couple of guys said Tyler Eifert or O.J. Howard at tight end. How would you feel about those guys?
I'd go Howard because he's younger. Eifert's had a lot of injuries throughout his career in Cincinnati. That dude's been a walking injury. And Howard, I think Howard is he's stuck in a tough spot in Tampa because they've got a couple of guys. You know, Godwin has really popped this year. Mike Evans is going to get a ton of looks. They've got Cameron Brate, another tight end on that team. I think Howard's the kind of guy. Is he going to be a superstar and just jump in? No. But I think he could help. I'd rather have him than Lacoste or fucking Izzo.
I'd rather have a receiver. I think they can scheme the tight end open.
Oh, I agree. I agree. No, if it's Emmanuel Sanders versus Howard, I'm doing Sanders all day. And no doubt.
Do we think the Browns will give us a game, or will the wheels be off that wagon with the clown show down there, head coach? I have no faith in Freddie Kitchens and what's going on there in Cleveland. They could be a complete disaster by the time they get up here.
It'll be interesting. One thing to look out for with that team is the last 2 weeks, Felge, Odell Beckham Jr. combined 4 catches. And, Jarvis Landry is saying we got to get him the ball. And we know Odell. And if they're winning and he's not catching it, you might be able to get by. If you're losing and he's not getting the football, that thing can implode very quickly. They got a tough game this week against Seattle. So we'll see what they can do against, the Seahawks.
Garland asks, how many games this season are the Patriots going to be double-digit favorites? So 4 of the 6 weeks they've been double-digit favorites. Is that right? So
yeah,
they're going to be double-digit favorites again, probably Miami.
The Jets.
Will they be double-digit in New York on Monday night? Probably. They have Cincinnati coming up. They'll be there.
Cincinnati is – if no one's watched that team, I haven't watched a lot of it, but that team is so bad. I know the Dolphins, but man.
They might be 10 favorites over Cleveland by the time Cleveland gets up here. It is in Foxborough.
They have that tough 4-game stretch, right? They've got Dak, they've got Wentz, they've got Mahomes, and they've got Watson. That 4-game stretch is going to be the test. I think you're looking at 13-3, 14-2. If they stay healthy, that 4-game stretch will tell us everything we need to know, though, about this team. I believe that it's that stretch after the bye. And if you have questions about their defense, you're playing against some of the best quarterbacks in the league during that month.
James B says, give Mike Nugent some love. I'm sorry.
Why?
How many kicks did he just curl it? Just around that left upright. And then he doinked it off the left upright. I know, bad hold. But all night, he was hooking it around that left upright. He was begging that ball to hit the upright at some point.
Listen, and why should I give him love? Michael Bennett's in there right now, Felge. There you go. 21 points. He's out there getting a snap, baby. Why should I give Mike Nugent love when Bill Belichick obviously doesn't want to give him love? He doesn't trust him. So if Belichick doesn't trust him, why should I feel great about him?
Justin says, my body language shows I hate this conversation more than the 98.5 ticket fugitive. That's an inside joke for our listeners. You don't need to know what that means. I didn't mind the fugitive that much out there. Not my thing, but we let Murray do what Murray does. Let's see, third and 3. This is the ball game. Or at least the cover. Oh, he gets it.
Flag on the play, Felge. You got a flag on the play.
I'll tell you, this game has been refreshingly, I want to say penalty-free. There's been several penalties on the Giants. Most of the games that I watch across the league, it's just the flags are out of control. They've just taken over the game. The Patriots, No, the Patriots just took one, but they've been refreshingly, I say penalty free.
Yeah, I mean, I think the NFL has tried to, relax a little bit. The first 3 weeks, especially, it's when Brady lost his mind during that Thursday night game. I think it was it Jacksonville, Tennessee, when he tweeted out. Ever since then, they've slowed it down a little bit. The offensive holding calls early in the season were atrocious. I mean, flags were all over the field. Enough is enough.
Okay, Eric Smith just checks in. Didn't rain at all. No shit. What happened to the fucking nor'easter that I was expecting tonight? What happened to my weather game?
Yeah, I saw the reports about a nor'easter and rain and wind, and I mean the wind I guess has been pretty bad, but in spots. But yeah, no weather game.
Not even that bad. So I was kind of looking forward to a sloppy weather game. It was a sloppy game, but had nothing to do with the weather. Sean says Dallas might be in shambles as well by the time they get up here. And the wheels might be off there. I don't know, too much talent for them to completely fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are, listen, Green Bay smacked them upside the head last weekend. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure you saw that game, Felge. So they smoked them last weekend, get down 31-3. That Saints game, I'll say this. Number one, that Green Bay game, Dallas was moving the ball. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot in the first half. Back against the Saints, their defense played well. Their offense obviously didn't do great because Marshawn Lattimore was fantastic against Amari Cooper. I still think they're talented enough. I think they're going to be in the wild card mix. I don't think they're winning the East, but I do think they're a possible playoff team. Jared
asks, how was Gronk as an analyst? I missed it. You didn't miss anything, Jared. I thought it was so fucking embarrassing. I don't watch these pregame shows because I should have known. But these pregame shows are such fluff and filler and garbage, and especially this Fox pregame show. I thought this Fox pregame show was such garbage, like complete garbage.
Yeah.
With celebrity bits and the comedians sort of fake TB12 and the Keenan Allen. Who the fuck was that? Who was the comedian with the recap of Super Bowl 42? The SNL guy? Whatever the fuck. And so the whole Gronk thing was stupid and useless and complete utter grab ass. If they let him talk football and Patriots football,
yes,
one thing.
Yes.
But they, even at halftime, did they just ask him about the tight end in San Francisco and that was it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And I said the other day when people were tweeting like, oh, they were treating him like he was a caveman. And I said, well, listen, if you talk to people who know Gronkowski, they'll tell you he's one of the smartest football guys that they've met. And if you put him in a position to succeed and talk football, he'll be fine. But unfortunately, what they did tonight was, oh, here comes the clown Gronkowski.
Oh,
we're gonna crack a bunch of uncomfortable jokes now, and it was fucking terrible. It was terrible. It was uncomfortable to watch.
It was as bad as I thought it might be. It was worse, and it's just like, what? Why can't you? He just came off of the Patriots. Everyone wants to know how the Patriots tick. Wait, could you ask him a Patriots question about?
I'll tell you what ruined all this shit. All these terrible pregame, halftime, and postgame shows. The NBA on TNT is what ruined it because those guys have such magic and they're able to just play off of each other non-scripted where they can have fun and joke around, but it's entertaining.
From those guys. They still give me insight.
Yeah, and so what happens is you have all of these executives and they're like, oh, let's make this funny and freelancing and let's have some fun and it just comes across as awkward if you don't have the right guys. I mean, you can't throw Gronkowski out there like they did tonight and not set him up to talk where he's comfortable. It was almost like they were asking him to like, I don't know, do theater out there. It was awful.
Wretched. It was fucking wretched.
So, Felger, let me ask you this. What's your main concern about this team?
My main concern about this team is offensive line. Because I was about to say Brady buy-in because I think that's been a problem so far, but he's going to buy in. He's going to snap out of this, and at the end, he's just going to care about winning, and he'll be fine at the end. So I'm not saying that. I thought about saying that. Offensive line. Because I don't worry. I'm not this guy that needs all these fancy weapons.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't need fancy running backs. and Brady's still the best with the money on the table. And so just protect it reasonably. When they've lost, I mean, just outside of that Eagles Super Bowl, which was a little goofy, but when they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowls, when they lost in Denver in the AFC title games, it's because their offensive line fell apart.
Yep, the NASCAR package of the Giants gave them hell. It's always been the O-line that has been the issue. The one good thing I'll say is, and by the way, Stephon Gilmore is just a stud. He's been fantastic tonight, and I know he's not going against a great number one, but he's been excellent tonight. But when you look at every team in the AFC, and Felge, being in Virginia Beach, I pretty much do a national show, so I watch a lot of these teams, and I got to tell you, there is no flawless team out there. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC right now, honestly. I think when they have it all together, they're tough to beat. They might go 4-0 with Teddy Bridgewater this week, which is amazing, and a great job by Sean Payton. But you look around, Kansas City's defensive front is the drizzling shits. They can't stop the run. They can't consistently get to the quarterback. Their secondary is not good. Honey Badger every once in a while will make a play, but they've got questions. And you look around, Houston, they inexplicably don't show up to games. Bill O'Brien makes some boneheaded decisions and play calls. I mean, you look at the upper echelon of the AFC, and every team, I don't see a team that you go, wow, man, if they show up, Cleveland has all sorts of issues. Who's going to win the AFC North? The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, everybody.
The AFC is on fire. The AFC is KC at New England, the AFC title game. So Nick, when we have these blowouts, which is pretty much every week with the Patriots, I bail at the 2-minute warning. I'm going to watch the Bruins in the third period.
All right, man.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Next Monday night, I'll be there for that one as well. I don't know, Nick, if you're in or not, but thanks for doing it tonight. We appreciate it.
Had a lot of fun, Felge.
Okay, man, we'll catch you down the line. Everybody, we'll see you next Patriots game in the fourth quarter. Bye-bye.
See you guys.